When looking across at the teams that will be playing and all the players who are there, give me the one player that is most important this coming weekend.
Well, I think so often most people are going to say, oh, you're going to say Sarah Groenewegen. Well, we've talked so much about her. And with a .6 ERA, of course, that's fantastic. But you're not going to win games if you're not going to score runs. So my player is Kendyl Lindaman. She is a freshman. She's batting .432, 16 home runs with 68 RBIs. And yes, freshman. She absolutely was probably a secret at the very beginning of the season, but she certainly is not a secret now going into postseason play. And in softball, I guarantee that most people absolutely know who Kendyl Lindaman is.
What a sweet swing, huh? Looking at the highlights, just a beautiful stroke. And she's #1 in the Big Ten, like you mentioned in homers, #1 in the league in batting average as well. It'll be impossible not to keep your eye on Kendyl Lindaman this upcoming week. Give me the team in the Big Ten that has the most to gain in the Big Ten tournament.
So I have to go with Illinois. Illinois had a tough weekend against Ohio State. They dropped 2 to Northwestern last week. But Illinois is so strong. And in order to make sure that they're going to stamp their ticket to the NCAA tournament, they have to have a strong showing in the Big Ten tournament. The Big Ten conference is very strong. They're going to get a couple games in for sure against some top competition to get them ready for NCAAs. So I say Illinois absolutely has the most to gain in the conference.
And they don't enter with momentum. As you mentioned, they haven't been playing great. They have lost 6 of their last 7 games as they enter the Big Ten tournament. Speaking of teams that have momentum, Nebraska's really turned things around right now, which brings us to your under-the-radar team.
Well, exactly, Nebraska. So I've talked about Nebraska the last couple weeks where they've really come into their own. You know, every week that they come out and play in the conference, they've been able to creep their way up in the standings. So while, yeah, they've had a tough go lately, they've lost a couple to Purdue, I still think that they're a team that they're going to do some damage in the tournament in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, and again, you look at the graphic here. Look at that bottom line. They started the year 0-10, and they've made their way back to come and be a team that is tough to face. But they're still looking for their first May win, which brings us to this. Who will win the Big Ten tournament when all is said and done?
Well, hey, listen, everybody's going to be watching this tournament. You've got Minnesota and Michigan seeded 1 and 2, 2 teams that did not play during the regular conference season. Michigan hasn't lost a game at home all season. Well, I still pick Minnesota. I don't think there's going to be an answer to Sarah Groenewegen and then the offensive lineup that they put out from 1 all the way down throughout. You don't know who's going to be the player that's going to pop up with the big hit. Coach Allister has talked about how they're a very special squad. They're breaking program records. I still see them coming in Ann Arbor and putting a stamp onto their championship. They've won the Big Ten, and now I still think that they're going to win the Big Ten tournament as well.
But like you said, if this does come down to the 2 best teams playing, it'll be a road game for them. How much does that matter, the fact that Michigan will have their home field and perhaps their home crowd?
So I think it'll matter a lot. Here's the difference, is that I think Minnesota, they've got the pitching staff, they've got the offense, they've got the defense. I know Michigan is flying high right now. They've produced a ton of runs, and Betza and Blanco both are doing a great job on the mound. I still think Minnesota edges them out.
Again, top 4 teams will be getting a bye. All games can be seen live here on BTN, and the Gophers are not only trying to win, but repeat as they won the tournament last year.